So in the last couple places that I've been visiting, I haven't filmed myself packing up the room or anything because I've been trying to rush out. I mean, I've been shoving everything in the bag as quickly as possible and trying to run out of the room because I have to check out right at that time. So this morning I have a little bit more time to check out, so I'm gonna film one of these videos. I'm also gonna show you the room, which is super, super messy. I've been sitting in this room for 1 week. And when I say sitting in the room for 1 week, I mean, I have the same hotel room for 1 week, which is uncommon because each place I've been visiting, I've been doing a hotel room for a few nights at a time. But what I figured out is that is stressful, takes a lot of planning. You got to figure out where the next place you're going to go to, like where I'm going to stay tonight. And it's kind of fun to play things by ear, but when you're doing that, it means every time you leave a hotel, you got to check out. So 11, you got to check out with your entire bag, and then what? You got to figure out what the next place you go to is, and then if you stay there for a night, you got to get your bag again, and then it's definitely a hassle. So I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna make the leap. I'm gonna stay in one place just for an entire week rather than keep hopping around. And I think that was a great decision. It's led to a really messy place consistently, but I don't care about the mess. I just want some place where I can put my mind into the work and focus and then get outside and go check out stuff. So while I was here, I'm staying in San Francisco in the Marina. I got to see a lot of beautiful stuff. This Marina, it's a really hip area. There's a lot of shops, a lot of coffee shops, a lot of bars, all that stuff. And then if you go for a quick walk or a quick jog, you can actually go to this beach area, which is absolutely incredible. So multiple days, I would just work all day and then say, all right, I got to go work out at some point. Because I'm doing a lot of traveling and I don't have a gym, my workouts have been running. That's been the first time in my entire life I've actually really been consistently running. And it's great. Probably the best thing about it is that I get to see a lot of the world. So I go out for a run and I go check out the beach right here. I think some people don't even consider it a beach because it's kind of cold, but it's beautiful. The sand's nice and the waves are nice. I don't know, it's just beautiful to look at. So anyway, ran down there a couple days, and then they have this other place called the Arts Palace, and the Arts Palace is absolutely beautiful. It has a Roman architecture, but it was built in 1915. It was the most opulent World Fair that ever took place in the United States. So over time, they've had to reconstruct the Arts Palace, and they've placed millions and millions of dollars into reconstructing it, making sure it's beautiful and not falling apart. And oh my God, it is so beautiful. And if you sit on a bench or stand on the other side of this little lake, you can stare at the entire structure, and there you just see birds flying by, and it's amazing. So I made sure on multiple times to go back on a run over there so I can go look at it again because it's so beautiful and it's so peaceful. And when you look at a structure like that, it has you embrace your humanity and just see a lot of beauty in the world. I see beauty in the world when I see, for example, some people might think this is funny, but I really liked Hoboken, New Jersey. I thought it was beautiful. And when you're in New Jersey, staring at New York, all the tall buildings, that is beautiful. That's way more beautiful than actually being inside of all those buildings and looking up and not really being able to see the skyline. So my favorite part about looking at the Arts Palace was looking at it from the other side of the lake, rather than being right inside of it and looking at the architecture of it or the designs up close. So I really like taking in the whole picture rather than just looking at the details, but maybe I'll get more into the details at some point. There were a lot of people that told me not to walk into the Tenderloin in San Francisco, and when enough people tell me not to do something, it means I should probably do it. If you know San Francisco, you know like what do you think about that area, but I didn't know anything about it. So I decided I was gonna go in that area, and in order to do that, I wasn't gonna go in the middle of the night or something because people said it's a bad area. I'm not dumb. So I decided to go in the morning when I was staying at a hotel near there so I could just walk through there. It was close enough. I wasn't taking an Uber to go or anything. But I went for a walk at 9 a.m. in the morning, and man, I saw a lot of crazy stuff. Meaning like just drug deals going down in clear daylight, or people shooting up, laying down on the side, just like very clear as day to see that. And to be honest, the whole area really did smell of urine, but I'm not too unfamiliar with that because in New Orleans growing up, Bourbon Street and a lot of areas do just smell like urine and puke all the time. So I was actually kind of familiar with that. But after walking through it just for a few blocks, I realized this is an area where I don't really care to spend any more time in. So then I walked out and left and went to breakfast. So last night I spent some time in the Mission District, which is more of the, I think, Latino district. I didn't spend a tremendous amount of time there, but you can really tell they have these distinct districts. Like I went through Chinatown, and you can see that there's like a larger Asian community there. I also saw the same thing in Chicago, which totally makes sense. And then in the Mission District, there was a larger Latino population than I've seen in other areas, which is cool. The marina that I'm staying in, I guess it's more of just like a younger area. If I would say it's like mostly Caucasian from just like, yeah, I would say it's mostly Caucasian, but there's a fair mix. I guess it's a lot of young professionals of every ethnicity. From what people told me about this area, it's more of an area for either coming to go hang out, or an area to live if you're a young professional growing really fast in your life and really want to be around other people that are doing the same thing. Actually, I think a lot of people in San Francisco are like that. So yesterday I was hanging out with my friend Zane, who is really intelligent, and he has a software company. It's growing fast. It's absolutely incredible. But he told me that he came out to San Francisco because of how everyone else was kind of working on tech, and everyone was working hard and had like this vision, and he wanted to be part of that vision. I 100% agree with him. When I was home in New Orleans, or every time I go back to New Orleans, I am unmotivated. And I've kind of always put the word there of just saying unmotivated without trying to define it. He did a great job of actually defining it and breaking it down. So New Orleans is a party and drinking place. It's wonderful for that, and it's wonderful for relaxing, but it's not that great if you really want to build something or focus or just be so motivated and have other people around you that are just so motivated to really grow something. Now, why is that the case? So this is truly what I felt when I was in New Orleans. Is people are waiting for the next time to party. They're just trying to find when the next time the party is. And everything's a party in New Orleans. So Halloween is a crazy party. All the holidays are crazy. There's crazy parties going around, like ugly Christmas sweater parties and all kinds of stuff. And everywhere is throwing a party. Everywhere and everyone. And then after the holidays are done, you have like Mardi Gras coming up. Well, you have New Year's partying, and then you have Mardi Gras coming up. And really, businesses shut down during Mardi Gras. And it's constantly like these businesses are shutting down, or people are trying to go to parties or concerts, whatever it is, and people are living for that next time that they're gonna escape from work. I think a lot of people in life just want to escape from work or escape from life, but that's really the culture there. It's to escape constantly, or maybe it's not to escape, but it's just to like, I guess maybe some people would consider it enjoy constantly, but for me, it feels like escaping, and I don't want to escape. I want to put myself into work. I want to be around other people that are motivated by work, not motivated by the time they're going to get off to party again. So one of my goals is to find a place that is motivating. I want to be motivated, and I understand that, you know, I can internally be motivated, and it's not going to be the place that I find that's going to be ultimate motivation, but your external environment vastly influences what's going on inside of you. Being here, for example, in San Francisco, I felt really motivated. I felt the drive and the excitement in so many other people that made me want to spend a lot of time just in this hotel room working. So I'm sitting in this chair where I spent 8 hours on Sunday reading Naval Ravikant's book, which is absolutely incredible. I sat across like right here in this desk, which is covered with stuff right now. I actually need to clean this place and I need to get out of here to catch my flight to Chicago. But I spent all this time at that desk working, and incredible thoughts came, incredible business ideas, sales happened, like everything was happening in this hotel room. And yeah, this is a pretty expensive hotel room because it's in a pretty nice area in the Marina district. When I equate the cost of the hotel per day to the amount of great work that will impact the company long term, it's well worth it. That's actually something I've been struggling with for a long time, to understand the expenses going out and how much of a long-term effect that has on the business. Which is kind of funny because I'm in marketing, and a lot of times when you're doing marketing, you have to put money out before you receive money in. Everyone thinks the perfect marketing machine is you put $1 in, $3 will come out. Well, that doesn't happen instantly. You have to build, reiterate, test, and constantly keep testing until you find that system that you do put $1 in and $3 come out. But it doesn't happen instantly. You're not like everyone would be doing marketing every single person would be doing marketing if that's how marketing worked. That's not. So anyway, internally, to understand what needs to happen inside of your business that you put that $1 down and $3 come out, it's difficult because every piece of your business can have that. But when you're sitting alone in your own thoughts constantly, but they're directed towards work, you start seeing some more of those things. So this week, I've seen a lot more of those things, which is incredible. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the business grows because of this week. And I hope actually that moving forward, I can continually have weeks like this. How do I imagine I'll have weeks like this? I imagine that I'm gonna keep moving around and keep traveling. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to continually be inspired. I believe a lot of it is the external environment. So I was pretty inspired in Costa Rica and the business did grow there, but I did feel this lingering, this kind of lingering unmotivation that was sitting around, probably because of the heavy drinking environment and party culture that I was in. It was hard to get away from. I kind of did, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people there were just partying and hanging out, which is a blast, but I want to be around other people that are really trying to grow something incredible or impact their lives, impact other people's lives, impact the world. Like that's cool stuff. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this to you before, but in April of 2020, I will be taking a trip around the world. So I joined a program called Remote Year, and I'll be doing 12 countries in 12 months. And I'll be doing that with about 25 other people. So each time we go to a country, we will stay there for an entire month. We'll have an apartment, with roommates, not a ton of them, maybe, 2 or 3 roommates. And then we'll also have a co-working space nearby. So I'm really hoping I'll be really motivated to sit down and work and keep growing my business in different environments, as well as I'll probably be motivated by some external factors to study something unique or research something unique. I'm just kind of guessing this stuff, and I'm trying not to place too much desire on it, because as Naval Ravikant says in his book, desiring something is where suffering comes from. So when you really want something, that's where all your suffering comes from. If you don't actually want anything and you're just completely fine, you don't have suffering. But we really crave a lot all the time, so we're constantly suffering. So one of the things he says is to limit the amount of desires you have at one time. Hopefully you only have one desire, because even just achieving one desire is really difficult, but you have suffering around it. So if you have like multiple desires, you're gonna be suffering constantly. So limit your amount of desires. So when I'm thinking about traveling, I'm trying not to set too many desires on it. I'd say one of my largest desires right now is making great connections with people. That's really it. I'm gonna throw in another desire there, and it's to grow my business into being something really meaningful for my life, for my team's life, and for all of my clients' lives. That would be absolutely incredible. So I think I can do both of those, because if I'm trying to create great connections, I feel like that'll happen in the same process as growing my company, and everything will I think everything will be better from that. The only thing I did not like about San Francisco was the cost. I got this salad in a box right down the street, and it was $20. It was like a romaine salad. It wasn't like the best thing on the planet, and it was $20. Just eating that salad, I was thinking about being in Costa Rica and getting like this, incredible meal for $10. I could get like an entire super high quality chicken panini pressed sandwich with a fresh mango smoothie for $12 or $15 max. Like that's gonna be a lot if I spend that much. Or I could go get a plate of casado, and that was $6 for all this food, and it leaves stuffed. And here I can get a salad for $20. So I went out for a breakfast at a diner over here, and that was $26 just for breakfast. So I think here, every meal that I had was anywhere from $16 to $40. This is just a typical meal, which I think is a lot of money. And I'd prefer not to spend that, honestly. I understand why it's expensive to be in such a nice environment, but I don't really care to spend that much. Another thing, I've been experimenting a little bit lately with a lot of things in my life. And one of them has actually been not drinking. So, if you're watching this video, maybe you don't drink at all, but maybe you do drink a lot. And this is for both of you really, but mainly to the people that do drink a lot. Because I am from New Orleans, which is a heavy, heavy drinking culture. Maybe you're from an area where there's a drinking culture, or there was drinking culture in your family. but it is hard to get away from. It's hard to even see that there's an environment outside of it. So if you like experimenting with your own life, because that's the ultimate experiment, you can go out for a night and not drink. And I mean, like, have that set in your mind that you can't drink because you're trying to do an experiment, because people probably will offer you drinks and want you to drink, and you'll probably, well, I would say if you tell yourself that you were going to do it as an experiment, that'll be your reason to not drink, and you'll be able to clearly tell people no. Because if you don't have a really set reason, you're gonna give in, and that's gonna be really hard for those people that do drink a lot or have drunk or have indulged in alcohol a lot in the past. When you do that, you can see so clearly how everyone is acting throughout the night, and you can much more clearly tell who you'd want to spend your time with, who you wouldn't want to spend your time with. I mean, when you're drinking a lot, you're kind of just having fun. It doesn't matter who that person is or how they are. You'll just spend time with them because you're drinking, and your cognition is much lower, your assessment of people is much lower, and you're really just, you know, kind of letting loose. So anyway, their experiment is really enjoyable, but there's more that comes out of that experiment than just being able to understand and see how people are. One of the things is how you feel when you're out and what you think about, as well as how you feel the next day, which is incredible. So I've talked to a lot of people that don't drink, and they just talk about how amazing it is to not feel bad the next day. And for a long time of my life, I didn't understand that because I was really deep into the drinking culture. So when I was in Denver, I did some of those experiments where I went out and I didn't drink. And this was like multiple nights and multiple days. Like, I didn't drink much at all when I was in Denver. And I was going out with people and meeting them at bars because that's a lot of what my friends did and people I know did, and I just wasn't drinking. And people were like, wait, what, you're not drinking? Like, they're kind of stunned, but it was awesome. I mean, I loved it. There was no reason for me to drink, and I was out being around people. You know, maybe I had like one drink and I just like babied it for a really long time. But wow, I felt wonderful. And the next day I felt great too. Here in San Francisco, I decided last night to experiment and have some drinks again. So I went out and had some drinks in San Francisco. I should say another thing about the expenses, drinks in San Francisco are anywhere from $12 to $18 for a drink. Oh man, this just blows my mind. You know, I wasn't going to like the absolute cheapest places or anything. I was going to places that were fairly nice. And I went to this place called White Rabbit, which I thought was pretty cool. I decided to experiment and indulge myself a little bit more in drinking. This feels so weird to say on camera. One thing I would say is some of the drinking that I felt like I was doing was for the purpose of drinking, to get myself to a certain point that I felt something, right? So I'm drinking so that I can feel a little bit intoxicated. So at one point I felt like I was doing that. There was no reason why I was really having the drink in my hand or really cared to be drinking except for that fact. Then I got to that point. I can see my cognition and my care to think too much about things or be concerned about things decreased. And I like dancing, so I allowed myself to dance. I'm just dancing by myself for a while. End up starting a conversation with someone and he's like, wait, you're just here solo? It's so funny. I actually get that a lot where people, like when I go to a bar or something like that, people are like, you're here solo? Yeah, man, I love being by myself and I'm traveling the world. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not taking anybody with me at the moment. Anyway, okay. Yeah, so I did that for a while. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm ready to go. Okay. I experimented. I danced a little bit. I got to talk to someone. Like, okay, success, check mark, let's go. So I come back to my place. I get here and I just like kill a bunch more time eating like all my snacks, you know, end up waking up this morning and I feel like crap. I still feel like crap, honestly. Like I can feel the alcohol still in my body, like in my whole body and in my mind. It's affecting my clarity of thought, which I don't enjoy. The experiment I've done before about drinking less has vastly influenced the way I see drinking, and now I can clearly see how drinking makes my body feel when I do it. So again, I'm gonna go back to those people that are really heavily into that drinking culture and have thought before about getting out of it. You should experiment with not drinking. That's what it should be. An experiment with your own body and with your own mind to see how you will feel when you are not drinking. That night analyze, assess everything, and then the next day analyze, assess how you feel. And I would actually recommend to pull out a journal and maybe write some stuff about that so that you can understand exactly what was happening. The way I just broke it down in this conversation is just me analyzing how I felt last night and how I felt the next day. Okay, one other thing I found really fascinating, right? So in the United States, we had a prohibition around alcohol, and that lasted for a while until it left. And now alcohol can be served anywhere, right? But for a while, people were making alcohol themselves. So one of the interesting things is just seeing people walk up to the bar and purchase a drink. They're just purchasing this alcoholic beverage to lower their cognition. Seriously, like it's a drug. Alcohol is a drug. It's a poison because, it's really causing toxicity in your body and in your cells, which gives you that fuzzy feeling and stuff like that. But you're buying this drug so that you can then hang out and party with everybody. And doing a drug at a younger age is a really fun thing. That's why a lot of people get older and they don't go to as many bars or anything like that. Maybe some people do, but maybe they start doing it at home. Like they don't have to go out and pay an extreme amount of money to buy this drug to hang out with everyone. One of the thoughts that I was having was about like, if this is a drug that people are just going up to the bar and buying, like why aren't other bars in the United States offering other drugs that you just walk up to the bar and buy and then go indulge in and then keep indulging in the night? Like, why? Because different drugs affect your cognition level differently. And what's the clarification of this one affecting your cognition level in comparison to this one? Like, you should be able to walk up to the bar and just purchase whatever indulgence you want and then go indulge and enjoy your night. It just would make sense. One of the reasons why I'm saying this is we have different regulations around marijuana currently in the United States. And I find it very interesting, and just so you know, I don't like prefer marijuana. I'm not a marijuana consumer. I grew up in a very heavy alcohol culture, but not in my own world a very heavy marijuana culture, which it does exist down there, but I didn't grow up, really indulging in that. So that wasn't heavy in my life. So that was much easier to just not do. And really any drug you do, you kind of feel like you need it. You get in this mindset where like if something's happening in your life or if you're feeling a certain type of way, then you'll be drawn to that. And that's not a way you should be. You don't want to be attached or addicted to anything. You want it to be there as a purely the thing that's going to be there for enjoyment or, if it enhances your life in some way, not if it can detract from your life. Oh yeah. So when I'm in different parts of the country, I find it very fascinating to walk into these dispensaries and check them out. Like some are so different. Some are really strict, like in Denver, you need to show your ID when you walk in, you need to show your ID when you make a purchase, and you need to be, someone follows you around the entire store and they're there to help you. It's such a controlled environment. And then I walked into a place in San Francisco and they have like 2 security guards out front. They check my ID and then I walk in and then there's like stuff everywhere, right? In Denver, it's all behind cases. Here, it's all out in the open. You can pick up, touch everything, walk around the store, grab stuff, whatever you want, hold it. And they're like, oh yeah, at some point we're gonna have baskets. So everyone can just fill up their baskets and walk up to the front. And I'm like, oh wow, that's like a completely different environment. And I think Seattle was more lax on that. So I wonder if my lifetime in the United States, people will be able to walk up to a bar and be able to purchase marijuana, alcohol, whatever else. I'm not sure what will be out in my lifetime that will be legal in the United States, but because of these things, it does make me interested in Amsterdam's regulations. I mean, a lot of people talk about Amsterdam, but it just seems like they're not restricting their people. I'm trying to understand a little bit more why the United States has these regulations, and I think a lot of people have their own thoughts about it, but I just like being unbiased and trying to understand things from a very unbiased point of view. Because the second you have a bias on it, then you're like, oh, this is the way it's gotta be, and then you're stuck in this mindset. Anyway, I think I'm rambling a little bit too much about that stuff. I don't know what time it is, I gotta check, because I have to be out of here at 11. Wow, I talked for a while. I do need to hop off so that I can clean up this place, pack, and then check out and make it to the airport so I can go to Chicago. I do want to show you what the place looks like. It's really messy. So this is what the bed looks like. It's super messy. I've been using one bed as like a shelf, and they just like kind of stayed there. But anytime I had a video meeting, I would throw them on the other bed because this is the desk. As you can see, it's really messy. I found like some pillow to support my back. But yeah, super messy. But I'd sit here constantly and do work. Anyway, this is the room. This is me. Hi, me. And then you can see a little bit of mess. So anyway, thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. That's my impressions on San Francisco. Also, that's some of my impressions on drinking, maybe how to get away from drinking or your indulgences just a little bit more by experimenting. And then once you experiment, you realize that you really don't need those things anymore, which is incredible. So I realize I don't need those things anymore, and I barely do them anymore. And I'm just now feeling like, I can't believe I drank so much last night because I don't feel so great. I don't care to drink that much anymore, which is pivotal in my life and probably for my liver. So my liver thanks me and my liver thanks you for watching. See you next time.